Snake.
Snake. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Solar Systems, where we help you understand the system your soul goes into. This is Moon Days with Michael. I'm your host of War Triangle, Michael, and I am cutting out the esoteric middleman and giving you the tools you need to connect yourself right to the source. Now, on today's video, we are doing the introduction to the Draco constellation. You're welcome. Just like our Orion constellation breakdown, we're going to go through all of its stars, energies, influences, natures, fortunes, giving you the basic understanding of what it means to have this placed in your chart, conjuncting any kind of astrological body. So with that being said, let's start off with the introduction to Draco. Unfortunately, I do not have Draco behind me, but it's up there, somewhere.
Wait, are you serious?
Now, Draco is a very popular and very famous constellation, with it being the 8th largest constellation in the sky, and it also happens to be one of the largest spanning constellations. Now, that actually is kind of not necessarily true, it's just going off of its position, but we're going to hop into all that. So, without any further ado, Draco constellation. Now, we're not going to go over any of the actual stars in this video, but this is going to be the basic understanding of where this constellation is, how many stars it has, you know, the kind of the lure behind it. And then we'll start hopping into each individual star's breakdown. So, with that being said, like I just mentioned, the Draco constellation is one of the 8th largest constellations in the sky. It's not necessarily the brightest, but it is also one of the largest spanning constellations. What I mean by this is that it actually goes from Aries all the way into Sagittarius. Now, the reason for this actually is based upon its physical position of it being a snake wrapping around the North Pole. With it wrapping around the North Pole, obviously, from our perspective, we're going to see it as covering numerous different spaces around the Earth. Alright, let's pause this real quick. Since I forgot to mention a couple things about the Draco constellation, I might as well go ahead and do this in the little voiceover style. So, with that being said, is that with it being circumpolar, meaning that it wraps around the North Pole, you can't exactly see it from the southern hemisphere. With that being said, though, it is mostly visible in the northern hemisphere most of the year round. So with that being said, back to the video. So before we actually hop into talking about the lore and the meaning behind this constellation, let's actually talk about its stars, because it has a lot, and a lot of them are kind of up for debate. There are 14 main stars, as you can see in this image somewhere over here. However, due to it being a snake and you not really being able to say, oh, where does the freaking tail end, or is this part of the snake? You know, like, who knows? Some people like to say it has upwards of 80 stars and other astrological bodies included into it. However, we're just going to be talking about the 14 main ones right there. So, with all that being said, let's actually talk about the origins of this constellation and the certain meanings that people put behind it. So, the snake, Draco, actually represents a lot of different things. Some people want to say that it's the serpent in the Garden of Eden. It could be a representation of Lucifer's snake form, right? Some people want to say that it was the serpent guarding the golden apples that Hercules or Heracles was defeating, and then, you know, Minerva put it into the sky because it felt bad for the snake. Now, there's also Egyptian origins, and numerous other cultures do have some meaning with snakes in their religions and cultures. But with that being said, a lot of the times they don't exactly mean the same thing. And there's usually two general outcomes of what a snake means when it comes to spirituality, astrology, or any kind of religious belief. Snakes are either deceivers, world eaters, chaos causers, and bringers, or they are, or dragons in this case. Snakes or dragons, you know, the same thing. Draco means dragon in Latin, so snake or dragon, you pick. Anyway, or dragons can be protectors, gods, or symbols of righteousness and protection. Although that's typically common in like Chinese culture, but you know, based on like the certain like gods and stuff they have. But anyway, so with that being said, there isn't really a consensus of what Draco actually means, or what a snake or dragon means in general. Is it good? Is it bad? Well, that kind of depends on who you ask. However, this brings us into the whole debate of actually understanding energetic influences and using them. Because let's be real here. What good are you being an energetic influence if no one is using you?
Well, he's got a point there.
It's like, are you really going to go out of your way telling people this, that, and the third just for them to ignore you?
Nope.
No. Why would you do that? Why would you waste your time? It's the same thing for energetic influences. Why would they influence if you're not going to use it? So with that being said, this constellation's influence actually is determined by you, what planet you have, and what star is in that planet, and this, that, and the third, right? It's very, I don't want to say it's complicated, because it's not. It's like A plus B equals C.
Oh my god, math. Math!
This energetic influence is really up to you in understanding how you use it and why you use it in the ways that you use it.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. No, it doesn't!
Just like literally any other constellation. Now, of course, each individual star has its own influence, nature, fortune, and meaning behind it, so depending on which star you have can really determine how this energy is going to play out for you. However, with that being said, it's still up to you, and the more you become aware of it, the more you realize when you're using it and when you shouldn't. Some people want to say that Draco is a very evil constellation and has evil and terrible influences, but in actuality, is it just that because it's evil, or is it because the people realize that they could do more selfish things with it, right? Is it the constellation's fault, or is it the person using its fault? I subscribe to the latter, but that's just me. With that being said, though, obviously, snakes and dragons have reputations of causing disaster, but can't win them all, I suppose. However, with that being said, when we're drawing lines and conclusions, with it being a snake and walking the earth and scaly and animalistic, obviously it has a lot more to do with lower animalistic natures than, say, a bird or a Pegasus constellation, for example, right? A thing that is kind of flying above all of the laws of nature and things of that nature, right? Nature, things of that nature. You get what I'm going with this? So while I understand that it is definitely easy to attribute Draco and its influences to being more negative and evil, is it really? Is it really negative and evil? I don't know. You're going to have to find out by watching all the stars breakdown in this constellation. So with that being said, that was the general overview of the Draco constellation. We're going to start hopping into this star right here. That's going to be the first one we're going to be talking about. And it's actually, at a certain point in time, the North Star of Earth, just based on the rotation of the Earth. But we're going to talk about that in that video. So with that being said, you guys know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe. Follow our Instagram for our daily alignments. Boom, right over there. Giving you every day's energy, every day on the daily. Breaking it down so you can understand it and understanding how you can resonate with that energy for that day. Boom, son. But yeah, if you would like to request any kind of astrological reading, email us down below, readings@solarsystem.org. Until next time, bye y'all.